Okay, if I could get your attention. So I'm going to do this quick presentation. Basically, it's an update of where we are with the parish hall. Um, Father asked me as part of the Parish Action Committee to go ahead and let you guys know exactly where we stand, what the updates are as far as the building of the parish hall. So Father put together the Parish Action Committee so we could work on the building of the new parish hall as far as what we need, the funds we're going to need, starting from ground zero, getting some floor plans together so that way we could take it forward. So this is the parish hall that we're going to be putting on the other side of the church here. We've already had it surveyed and mapped out. What it's going to be for is so we can have bigger events. We can have, gatherings like this in the new parish hall. We can also sublet it out to other community areas, community leaders, so they can use it for other events and stuff like that as well. So what happened is we didn't know exactly where to start, and then we got approved by the University of Georgia engineering students. They take on a project every year that they're going to work on. They selected our parish hall project so they can give us some floor plans. They can look at the layout, and then they can build some options for us so that way we can see what options we wanted moving forward. So they gave us three options. I'm going to go over those three options, and then I'm going to go over the ones that we picked that we thought was going to be best for the building of our parish hall. So this is design 2. This is the smallest of the option. It's about 2,500 square feet for the main hall, and then about 500 square feet for the storage rooms. So this is the main level. This is the hall here. This is the stage. Off here is the kitchen. The only problem with this is going out to the kitchen. You have to go outside in order to go to the kitchen. However, there is no window or anything from the hall to the kitchen. So everything would have to come out here to the hall. It's very kind of small. We got the stage, and then also downstairs we would have a couple classrooms, and then we would also have some storage room. The classroom Father wants as far as religious education for the young ones and anybody else. Also for any other future education that we would do as far as we would have Bible study or anything else. This is the smallest option right here. So some of the pros and cons. So it meets what we gave him is a limit of 5,000 square feet for the building. It has a pond, which we didn't think is actually necessary, but it's got a picnic area, less of a demolition plan, and room to expand on the property. So if we build small, then we could grow out from there. However, the cons are the building is not facing the forest, so we would stop to build the deck. The power line needs to be moved. Access to the building is only located on one side, and also there's less landscaping features. So then we're looking at the next design, which is a little bit bigger. So we have a main hall, and then we have the classrooms, we have the kitchen and restrooms. Still, it's a little bit smaller, not really what we need. It's lower cost, large recreational area, room for expansion, and some aesthetic improvements. However, we're limited with the building, minimal parking, and then there's concern for drainage. Now, this is the option, the high-end option that we are looking at that we think would best facilitate for the expansion of the parish hall. So this is kind of a bird's eye overview designed from the engineering students. What we would need, here's the landscaping here. Here's the church with expansion of parking spaces out to here. So this would be the access to the new building. And then I will go over the details of the building right here. So this is some of the landscaping options that we're looking at. This is not necessary. Some of this can be cut back and scaled back as far as what we need, as far as the limitations, as far as funding and everything that we're going to be hopefully getting as far as donations and the stuff and money that we can acquire. So this is some of the landscaping options. This is some of the statuary we're looking at, some of the benches. This is what the parking space would look like. And then another option for a playground as well. So looking at this, so the main church is over here. The new parish hall would be over here. So this would be access to some of this landscaping options, shrubberies and everything else. This is the basic layout design of the new parish hall that we're looking at. So here's the main hall with the stage up here with a little offset to prepare. So we could have events here. We could also have the stage here with a little bit of an area here. There's a kitchen here with easy access into the kitchen. I'm also suggesting we cut down this wall so that way we can serve directly from the kitchen out into the hall for any other main events that we would have. We have restrooms. And then on the lower level, on the basement level, we have the classrooms, we have a utility room, storage, and 2 storage rooms, and also a men and women's bathroom. So looking at this, when we were looking at the costs, and I'll go over the overall costs here in just a minute, we thought this was going to be our best option as far as what we need. So looking at it, this is kind of a 3D model, so you can see with the high-end design what it would kind of look like. This is kind of the landscaping. This is a pool that they also put in there, like a pond. We thought this is not exactly necessary, so to save on cost, we don't need to actually put a pond out here. But I left that in just in case this is something we want to develop moving forward. So like I said, all of this, like the pond, the playground, all of this can be scaled back. So depending on how much funds we get in, is dependent on how well we can feasibly build something like this. There's another view for the parish hall. Another view. This is from the church parking lot looking out onto the main parish hall. These large windows, so this also adds to costs for the building. So if we don't need big windows, we could just scale back the windows to just these large windows here, or we could just put a wall with other windows. This is another large cost right here. We put that in just so you can see aesthetically what we're looking at as the grand picture of everything. But however, some of this could be unnecessary. So we can also scale some of this back. That way you can see. Again, here's our church over here. Here's the main parish hall. We wanted the windows facing the forest, so that way we have a nice visual of the forest in the background as we're doing some of these events and everything. Here's the front entrance view that you can see. So this is the ground floor here where we would have the classrooms. And then this is the main hall here where we would have the stage. And then also the kitchen expands here. So you have access to the kitchen through here. You also have access to the kitchen also inside the main hall. So with that high-end concept, it meets all our needs. We have a commercial kitchen, downstairs religious classrooms. We have a main auditorium that's 2,000 square feet.
Бо ти
That
святий си,
fit up
Боже
to
наш,
200
тобі
people.
славу
So that
силаємо.
way when we have these
Отцю і
events
Сину
where
і
we had
Святому
where
Духові,
the
нині
metropolitan
повсякчас і
we
на
had
віки
we had about 150 people.
віків.
Instead of having tents and everything, we can have it inside in the main auditorium where it's covered. We don't have to worry about the elements and everything like that. We have landscaping. We expand the parking to make sure that we can accommodate the more people coming in as far as events or anything like that. And we also have the playground. So this is a kind of a comparison. So this is the cost comparison that we're looking at. So even with the smallest low end, we're looking about $1.45 million. With the medium end, it's about 2.1, maybe closer to 2.2, and then about 2.8 million for the high end. So when we're looking at this doesn't really meet a lot of our needs that we're looking at. It's very minimal. It's not going to really provide a lot of expansion. So then we were looking at the medium end option around close to 2.2 million. However, the difference between the medium end and the high end is because this would still require some additional expansion. we might as well look at the whole total cost of the high end at 2.8. So the cost difference between this and this is still pretty minimal when we look at it. So that's why we looked at the high end option versus the medium option. Also, looking at this, this is only for the cost of building and construction materials, landscaping, and all that. We still would need to hire an architect to draw up the plans and do that as well. So that's also an additional cost that's not figured into this as much. This is only cost of labor, cost of building, cost of payment, and all that. And it's kind of broken out here, so you can see that. So with that, the proposed building goes a little bit above what we need for the 5,000 square feet. It's about 7,200 square feet. It's on 4.03 acres of land, and the projected estimated budget is about 2.78 million. Anytime you do projects like this, you also have to do a contingency of about 20% because of cost of inflation. Everything kind of varies, especially when you're doing these projects. You always run into issues where it might have to cost a little bit more. So we're looking at 2.78 million, and then about another 500,000.
Будьмо вашені
to make sure that we're appropriate.
премудрість будьмо
The cost of the new
уважені.
expansion for the parish hall and the total building. Where we're at now, so you can see where we started last year when the engineering students came out, the site meeting with Father Vladimir and other members. They delivered us the concept designs, and then from that we selected the concept design that we want to go with. So what the engineering students' responsibility was because of their project is kind of giving us the floor plans and what it costs and need. That actually is a lot of cost right there. So the fact that they were able to do that is a great help, because when you ask for money and you put this out to the community, and we're not talking just the community within our community, we're talking the community within Georgia, within the United States, and also throughout the world. So we're looking at marketing this to a lot of other places that are looking to donate to projects like this, so that way we can raise the money for this. When you need something like this, they want to see if you have something in place, some plans already delivered, some floor plans, and other things like that. Because when you market for something like this, if you say, we have an idea, and they say, okay, great, what's your idea look like? Do you have plans or anything like that? Well, we don't have that yet. They're not going to be as up to donate unless you have something where you already have a concept in place. Then people are going to say, okay, they have something in place, we can move along, and then we'll put this out there. So this kind of breaks it down. When you look at the overall cost per square foot for the high end, with what we're getting, meaning your bang for your buck as far as what the total cost is per square foot, when I went down and I broke it down to cost per square foot, the high end was actually the best deal, because the low end, we're still not getting as much. It's still going to be cheaper. However,
Мир тобі, премудрість, будьмо уважені.
And what usable space, the low end isn't just going to really meet what we need. With that as well, like I said, when we market this out, if this gets built, we can market out to other governments, other local leaders, and we could rent it out for, $500, a day, plus cleaning fees or anything like that, to use our building. So we could use that in order to cut down also the cost as well. So it also can be a revenue generating machine for us as well. Not that the church has to be revolved around what revenue we can bring in for the church. However, it'll help us with the overhead costs as far as maintaining the building as well. So when we lease this out or we rent it out to other entities, we're looking at saving that in order to looking at the overall maintenance. And also, if we had to cut back on landscaping or anything else like that, we can look at saving that into a separate fund in order to expand further on landscaping and everything else. So as I said, this is the kind of things that we're looking at: fellowship, outreach, culture, community outreach. So actually other churches can come and they can do Bible studies.
Мудрість просю, вислухаймо
Community
святого
worship,
Євангелія
having events like the Metropolitan or anyone else coming.
милості.
Also Bible study, catechesis with our younger kids, so that way we can actually have a school here where we can actually teach.
Від
and be
Матея
prepared for
святого
the teaching.
Євангелія читання.
And that is pretty much the overall presentation. I wanted to kind of make it quick, but I wanted to give you guys an update on where we are with the building of the new parish hall. As far as the funds, that is the infancy stage of that.
Будьмо
And that is something that
уважні.
I'm working on. I have a friend
Той
of mine.
час, коли
He owns a
Ісус
marketing
проходив
company
уздовж
down in Miami.
Галилейського
He's willing to
моря,
help us out.
він
However,
побачив двох
this last year he's
братів,
gotten a lot busier
Симона,
since
що
then.
звався Петро, і
So
Андрій,
I
його
still keep in
брата,
contact with
що
him a
кидали
lot.
сіті у
And he's willing
море,
to help us out
бо
with the
були
marketing. So
рибалки,
the
мов до них.
marketing is
Ідіть
he
за
would
мною, я вас зроблю
he would
рибалками
forego the cost of
людей.
his marketing
І
team,
ті негайно
and we would
кинули
just have to pay for
сіті
the ad
і
revenue.
пішли
Every
за
time we run ads
ним.
on Google or
Пройшовши
Facebook
звідтіль
or
далі,
anything like
побачив
that,
інших
to
двох
go out
братів.
to
І
the
Якова
United
сина
States,
Заведея
throughout
та
the
Івана
world
його
for the
брата,
donations.
що
We
в
just
човні
pay
з
for that
батьком
ad
Заведеєм
revenue
лагодили
for
сіті,
that
їх
ad. Like anything,
покликав.
if you want to bring in money for
Вони
this, then
зараз
you
же,
got to pay a little bit
кинувши
in order to bring
човна
it,
і свого
especially when it
батька,
comes to the
пішли
amount of money that
слідом
we're
за
going to need.
ним.
So
І
we can
ходив
have a
Ісус по
lot
всій
of
Галилеї,
fundraisers, we can have a
навчаючи
lot
по
of stuff
їхніх
like that, but
синагогах,
it's going to take a long time.
звіщаючи добру новину про
Micro
царство,
fundraisers in
і
order to get the
зціляючи
kind of money that
всяку
we need. So
хворобу
I'm
та
looking at
всяку недугу в
marketing out into a wider reach, so that way we can reach more people that are going to be
народі.
willing to donate to stuff like this. There are people out there that are willing to donate to projects, especially church projects. We just need to find a bridge in order to connect them, so that way they know that this is the project we're working on. Especially there's a large community, Ukrainian community
Ім'я
out
Отця і
there
Сина і
that has
Святого
some
Духа.
funds that
Амінь.
are set aside that they
Слава
would be
Ісусу
willing to
Христу!
donate to stuff like this. So that's what we're looking at to reach.
Дорогі брати та сестри
as
в
well.
Христі,
Any
сьогодні
questions?
є друга неділя по
You wanna
зісланню
add
Святого Духа. Ця неділя в східній традиції. Кожна церква, вона
Hold on.
згадує пам'ять своїх святих. Так, якби, наприклад,
Oh,
ми,
the school.
Українська
Actually, I kind of
греко-католицька церква, та згадуємо
did that
своїх
as a
святих,
separate.
та,
So
українських.
the cost per square foot.
Напевно, що
They
якби
get-
це
they,
була англійська служба, мало би сенс згадувати
I looked at the
місцевих
costs,
святих, та,
and then
бо
I
вся
just
суть
kind of
полягає
looked
в
at
тому,
the
щоб
usable
згадувати
space
тих,
versus
хто є
the cost
близький,
of each
хто нам
project,
відомий.
and then
Хто є,
looking at-
та, тобто,
and then that's how I
чому
came-
церква заохочує нас до святкування всіх святих, зокрема тої локальної церкви, котра є, до котрої належимо, для того, щоб ми ще раз і ще раз усвідомлювали, що святі це не ліпляться десь з неба, не падають. Та? Тобто це є між нами, це є люди, котрі просто зробили вибір, що вони хочуть жити святим життям. Це люди, котрі зробили вибір, що вони не хочуть насолоджуватися гріхом, а гріх є огидний для них. Це люди, котрі в своєму серці шукали за Богом попри свої труднощі, попри свої гріхи, попри свої випадки. Вони зробили свій вибір. Так? Тому святість – це не просто, скажімо так, знаєте, як ми розважали минулого тижня, еліта неба, знаєте, вибрані. Ні. Це люди, котрі вибрали Бога. Бо Бог вибрав всіх нас, знаєте, щоб ми були його дітьми. Але питання, чи я вибираю, аби мій Бог був моїм Богом, так? І це дуже важливо і чітко зрозуміти, дуже чітко для нас, так? Бо не раз, знову ж таки, так просто для прикладу, щоб зрозуміло, знаєте, бо не раз хтось каже, знаєте, отче, та я так не ходжу до церкви, та й гроші заробляю. Зрозуміло, не буває, знаєте, буває деколи все, та? Але якщо це вже перетворюється на, знаєте, тобто, мій Бог – це мої гроші, ну, та хай вони тобі дадуть мир і спокій в житті, сім'ї, і задоволення, і щастя, і вічне, знаєте, Царство Боже. Тобто потрібно розділяти. Тобто, звичайно, Бог дає нам щось, щоб ми опікувалися, щоб ми якби мали щось, щоб опікуватись своєю родиною, сім'єю. Але на першому місці має бути певний пріоритет. Що я ставлю на перше місце? Що я ставлю на перше місце? Це щось подібне, знаєте, як там когось щось з роботи, щось важливо, знаєте, а тут в доньків чи сина день народження, чи в дружини, знаєте, чи важлива якась подія. Ні, ну робота важлива, але, знаєте, Ну, розумієте? Ну, ось подібно тут так само є. Тобто, чи мій Бог є дійсно моїм Богом, та? І тому, зокрема, в Україні маємо багато святих, притуленські мучені,
And that's what
святі, власне, 20 століття, котрі там віддали своє життя, котрі були переслідувані, особливо радянською владою. І, звичайно, що багато святих, котрі ми не знаємо, але, зокрема, ті святі, котрі ми знаємо, котрих церква розпізнала, побачила їхню таку особливу ласку того, що вони вибрали Бога в своєму житті. І, зокрема, це відгукується сьогоднішнім і апостольським читанням, бо каже апостольське читання, що праведник – це не той, хто чує Слово Боже, але той, хто чує і виконує. Це дуже важлива різниця. І це дуже важливо для тебе і для мене. Чи я слухаю, вслухаюсь голос Божий, і чи я виконую, чи я імплементую це Слово Боже, чи я втілюю це Слово Боже у своєму житті. Бо це, знову ж таки, знаєте, це щось таке, як йти до лікаря. Ну, лікар може бути чудовий, прекрасний, спеціаліст просто на всі руки, знаєте. І може дати нам прекрасний прескрипшн, такий, що просто взагалі, знаєте, рецепт. Але питання не в тому, чи лікар є добрий. Питання в тому, чи я слідую інструкціям цього лікаря. Бо якщо я не слідую, ну то чому я нарікаю на того лікаря? Ось подібно є з Богом, І, звичайно, що не раз ми як підемо до лікаря, ми скажемо, ну я не розумію, чому я ці таблетки маю зараз пити. Ну, звичайно, сподіваємося, що це таблетки були виписані, знаєте, для здоров'я, не для того, щоб заробляти гроші. Ми віримо, сподіваємося, це добрий лікар. Але подібно з Богом, знаєте, тобто, попри те, що ми все не розуміємо, ми мусимо довіритись. Зокрема, це сьогодні бачимо на прикладі сьогоднішнього євангельського ринку, коли Ісус, каже, йшов уздовж берега, уздовж берега, і він побачив двох братів, що риболовили, Петра і Андрія, потім двох інших, Якова і Івана. І їх покликав, каже. Але це так важливо, дорогі брати та сестри, через те, що це відбувається дуже так невимушено, знаєте. Тобто ми не бачимо, що Ісус, знаєте, готується, знаєте, там, що буде зараз якісь там, знаєте, як спецоперація, не знаю, як люди готуються до риболовлі, не знаю, до якихось подій, знаєте, приготування. Ісус дуже так невимушено відбувається. Він просто йде вздовж берега, бачить Петра, Андрія, Івана і Якова, вони риболовлять, він каже, йдіть зі мною. Йдіть зі мною. Дорогі брати та сестри в Христі, чому так відбувається? Це дуже важливо, адже Ісус показує, що насправді Він приходить до нас не просто, знаєте, що важлива подія, ювілей, неділя, служба Божа. Звичайно, що і під час богослужінь, особливо є в Христі, але Ісус показує, що Він приходить не лише в той момент, коли ми його очікуємо, що я їду до церкви, Бог до мене прийде. Ну, неодмінно, якщо я шукаю з ним, і тоді прийде, правда? Але Ісус показує нам, що Він приходить у нашій буденності. У нашій буденності. У той понеділок, такий звичайний, у той вівторок, при виконанні своєї якоїсь роботи. Важливо просто, важливо що? Важливо, чи ми налаштовані є на Бога. Чи наша хвиля ось тут, знаєте, як та радіостанція, знову ж таки, чи ми налаштувались, там, не знаю, там Joy FM чи якась інша, знаєте, щось є. Ось подібно, тобто, навіть коли я виконую свою працю, але чи я налаштований на хвилю Бога. Бо навіть якщо я налаштований на хвилю Бога, але я не є в храмі, але виконую свої якісь обов'язки старанно, Бог до мене промовить. Бог мене буде навчати. Дух Божий буде давати мені мудрості. Зростати в мудрості. Але питання, чи я шукаю Бога навіть у своїй щоденній праці. Подібно як Андрій, Іван, Петро і Яків. Тобто вони десь в своєму серці шукали з Богом. Вони ніби